and more stuff, and more stuff. Guys, I've never seen a mini miner with more boxes in my life. But that's right, we are working on my iPollo, whatever you want to call this brand, X1 today. Finally figured I'd get around to it. This thing's been sitting brand new, unopened, in my basement for my mini miner farm. You know, everything else has been set up. I've been working on things here, been working on things at the actual farm. And this has just been sitting unused for 4 months now. I think I got it back in June. Like, I was in the first batch. And yeah, it just has not been a priority for me. Ethash, just low priority. I don't really give a crap about Ethereum Classic, Ethereum Fair, Ethereum Proof of Work. I do mine ZIL on everything. I mean, when it comes to GPU mining, I dual mine ZIL on everything because it's essentially free money. But yeah, this guy, it's just been sitting around, so we're gonna get to unboxing today. But yeah, when you order one of these, it comes with a whole lot of things. There's not just the X1 box. It comes with a PSU box, obviously a power cord for your PSU, orange Pi box, this little guy right here, and all these cables. So we're gonna get to unpacking. This is just a weird one though, guys. It's just weird form factor, you know, looks like a GPU, isn't a GPU, but can go in your desktop computer. When they originally sent this to me, did talk with them. I did pay for this, but I was talking with them about the original idea of what this was, and the idea is actually that you could put this in a computer in one of your PCIe X16 slots. It does not communicate through that. It is literally just for mounting it. So essentially you can hide this miner inside of a desktop computer so no one would know it's there. You know, it's meant to like essentially go in your desktop for hiding purposes, but it does not communicate on that X16 slot, which we'll get into later in this video. So we'll kind of do a demonstration. Hopefully it fits in the desktop that I have here, just to like kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. But yeah, we're gonna start unboxing and be right back. There it is, all unboxed. So we do have the X1 unit itself, which comes with this nice, very high quality shroud around it, and it does have some rubber feet on the bottom. So if you want to use it not inside a computer, this is how it would operate inside this little box. But I will take this off later, this shroud, to kind of show that example of putting it in an actual computer. Obviously PSU, this is power cord for the PSU. This is your USB connector. So this end, your USB A, will go into either your computer or the Raspberry or Orange Pi they give you. And then this end, this square shape, goes into the actual unit right there. And then we have the power cord for our Orange Pi, so USB powered, and then nice on-off button. The Orange Pi itself, this thing's absolutely tiny. All you got is the USB-A, Ethernet port, and actually a Wi-Fi dongle, so that's this little antenna hanging out there. This is your GPU X16 PCIe slot adapter for this. Again, so I'll take off the shroud, attach this and show you guys how this mounts inside of a desktop computer if you want to hide it and not have it take up desk space. But yeah, you'll definitely need one of these guys, or to attach this guy. As you can see, there's no way that it communicates. This is purely like a plastic, just so that it can mount into the PCIe slot, but not actually communicate. Again, all communication goes through that USB port, so it's just for hiding it in a computer if you don't want it on your desk. And then they do give you some extra, you know, screws, feet, so on and so forth. So that's kind of everything. I'm gonna get to setting this up here on the desk just to do some testing, and then we'll get into it. Alright, so we're just about ready here. Again, lots of wires everywhere. It's a really weird form factor if you're putting it out on a table. It's really weird because, like, I don't think they did a good job explaining how you're supposed to utilize this or how it was designed. Because I feel like everything I've seen is people just putting it out like this. And it really is just kind of mess of wires and everything, and really not optimal. So I'm really excited to show you guys how this was supposed to be utilized or envisioned by the iPollo team. Again, I think they just kind of didn't advertise it well. But I actually don't know how to turn this on, because obviously there's this power brick for this ASIC GPU thing. But then there's also the power switch for Orange Pi, so I don't really know what one you're supposed to turn on first. I think I'm just going to plug this in, and then we're going to turn on the Orange Pi maybe. Not really sure. So that definitely turned on the fans here. And we do have a green light there. I'm just going to turn this on and hope for the best, I guess. Orange Pi is starting up there. So we'll just kind of jump over to the computer real quick and see if this thing has actually registered. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, it looks like the power's on, so that's cool. But yeah, be right back when I get over into the computer. Alright, so we are now in the computer. You can see that I have found my IP address for my iPollo X1. Now, I have a router where I can easily, go into its dashboard and it'll tell me all my IP addresses, but depending on your router, you may have your own ways of finding your IP address, or use the tool from iPollo, which you can download on their website. But again, I don't have to do that with my router. The password and username are both root, so this is very similar to like a bitmain. Atypical for iPollo in my experience. Normally one of the username's admin, but and the password is, I think, default on all my other iPollo's password, but I can't quite remember. So jumping in here, you can see that it did start pretty recently, and it's already mining probably to, whatever wallet is default in here. Looking through all this all looks pretty standard. I will say that unfortunately I did have an issue with this immediately, so it did not take me just a couple minutes to get it to show up here. Ironically, I guess my micro SD card, so the Orange Pi just would not start. And after some troubleshooting, determined that it was the SD card. The SD card would not show up in, and it's a micro SD card. It would not show up in any software anywhere. So I think it was just DOA. So I did have another micro SD card, which I flashed with the official firmware. And looking at the iPollo support page, you can go to the firmware download and your X series firmware tool. I'm guessing mine had this version, the initial version, because like I said, I got this X1 way back when they first came out and just has been sitting. But I installed this latest and greatest firmware, which apparently incorporates some bug fixes from this intermediary one and then some other updates. So that's all you'd have to do is just click on these and download and, flash it. I use Belina Etcher, but that one, it's up to you. So after doing that, it did pop up right away. So again, just got a bad micro SD card from the factory, I guess. It has all your basic information, your SN number, serial number for the device. Information overview is all of your pool information, so you can see that it has connected and is mining for one of the pools. Then there's your miner configuration, so that is where you would actually put in all your information. Again, this is just the default that the firmware comes with, which I assume is there's fan configuration, pretty normal stuff. Wireless, if you have the Orange Pi accessory, you can use wireless. I have this wired though, so not gonna worry about that. And then you have your log section and all your basic system stuff. So I'm going to jump over to my miner configuration and see if we can get this to show up on the pool. So let's get to it. I'm going to be mining ETC hash. And since I started this video, I did realize something that I cannot use two miners like I wanted to and get paid in BTC because the iPollo device unfortunately requires you to use the same pool to dual mine, and I do plan to dual mine ZIL. So I have to utilize the ETC pool that also supports ZIL mining, which two miners currently does not. So two miners, if you're watching this, add that feature. I think it's kind of ridiculous that you can't dual mine ZIL on any of your ethash or ETC hash. Coins would be nice. I don't think you gotta like pay out the ZIL in BTC, but it'd be nice to have a ZIL pool so anyone mining ETC or ethash algos can, or coins can, jump over to ZIL and get that extra thing. So what are we going to do here? We're going to put in all our information, so I'm just going to clear out everything that's here. I typically only put one pool because I have endless issues with all ASICs, and so do many others. When you put in failover pools, it tends to always jump to them, which, you know, at like if there's like 1 millisecond of disconnect, like you'll jump to your other pools, and I track my devices heavily, so I know if there's a pool issue, I can actually go and address that issue immediately, just because I am always watching things. So I ZIL mine with all my GPUs on Crazy Pool. So this is my account on Crazy Pool. Yay, fun stuff. I do have one of my GPU workers offline at the moment, so normally this is at 24, and hopefully we'll be at 25 once we get our iPollo device working. But I'll be using ZIL for their ETC and ZIL, because you have to use the same pool for both. There's no way to like really do that in here, unfortunately, on ASIC devices. On GPUs, you don't have to use the same pool, in my experience, for ZIL mining. In fact, like half the coins that I mine with ZIL don't have like a lot of Kapow pools do not have ZIL pools. So, but when it comes to ASICs, especially ethash and ETC hash, you pretty much have to utilize the same. So we're going to connect to here. So you're going to hop over to the Crazy Pool Ethereum Classic section if you're going to mine Ethereum Classic. And then we are going to connect. So this is very important. This is wrong. Do not put this in your password. That is not how you dual mine Zilliqa. I don't know why this is here. This is not right. So how do you dual mine with, you know, an ASIC device? So we're going to copy over our stratum information. There we go. That's great. Your worker is going to be whatever your wallet address is. So my Ethereum Classic wallet address is actually, so I have this set up. I was mining to it prior, just to do some testing. So we're gonna copy my address from over here, which, there we go. Now, this is very important, and you can kind of see it here, because I must have done this when I was testing things. Is essentially you're going to want to, so this is just your ETC thing. And now normally you would just go iPollo X1, you know, and that would be it. But if you want to dual mine, there is another step here. So you don't jump straight to your iPollo. You will then copy your ZIL address after a period. Again, do not follow the instructions on the actual website, or else you will not dual mine ZIL. So, again, on their website, if you go to just the general ETC, it's going to tell you to put your ZIL address in the password section. Do not do that. Maybe it works on GPU, I'm not sure, but on an ASIC device, does not work. You are going to want to put your ZIL address into the worker name by putting a period between your ETC or ethash algo wallet and your ZIL wallet. Very important. Then, after all that, then you're going to put another period, and this is where you're going to put your iPollo X1 information. So that's the whole thing. You need to have all this, and because this is your worker name, and you have to add a prefix, which I believe they do call out on their pool. I think they're pretty good about this. Let me double check though. Yeah, so what they're gonna tell you, if you own an iPollo ASIC, you must activate the enhancer using worker name equals iPollo underscore myrig name. You must pre-append iPollo to your platform name. So I actually kind of missed the underscore, but essentially at the very end here, you must put iPollo, like the whole word iPollo, then an underscore, and then your worker name. So there's a lot going on here, like a ton, in this worker field in an ASIC to dual mine ethash or etc hash and ZIL. So again, you're putting your EC or ethash wallet, period, then your ZIL address, period, the word iPollo, all in lowercase, followed by an underscore, and then whatever you want your worker name to be. Alright? Pretty straightforward. Not really. Now, the very last step is obviously your password, which is, well, that'll be, again, pool dependent, or if you actually want to set one, but I'm just going to use the default X. I'm going to use hash rate mode, not energy efficient, don't really care. And I'm going to press save and apply. It's going to tell you that it's going to take a while to do this, and eventually it does it. So once you have done all that, you should be ready to mine ETC or ethash and ZIL. So exciting stuff. Now, I personally, with any ASIC, some of them require it. I do not know on this one, but I always like to do a reboot after doing all these settings. Half the time they don't actually apply, so we're just going to go over to system reboot and perform a reboot. And once that is done, we will back here and see if we have connected to the pool. Alrighty, so you can see after a restart, you will have to relog in. Again, password is root. As it is first starting up, it'll probably give you some error message and stuff, so we'll just ignore those for now until the machine gets up and running. Again, nothing in our information yet, but that's because all our configurations are in the process of starting. We'll check back as soon as that all evens out. It usually does take a little bit of time. Alright, so you can see that everything has actually finally started up. All this information is starting to populate. Usually takes a couple minutes for your hash rate to start going up, which is pretty typical for any ASIC device. You can see that we have indeed connected to the pool in the iPollo software. We have gotten 11 get works, no accepted shares yet, so it probably will not show up on the pool yet. We will do a quick refresh here. No, nothing yet. So we'll be back once this has indeed actually connected. Alright, so you can see we finally are showing a hash rate. It is a little low at the moment, but that'll change over time. And if we jump over here, you can see that we now have accepted shares. We have 6, so that's great. Again, ASICs always take a little bit just to warm up, but we should start to see it as an online worker here shortly. Again, Crazy Pool I think has a 5-minute refresh rate on their website, or close to it. It looks like maybe it's 5 or 10. It actually looks like it kind of varies, to be honest, which is kind of interesting. So we'll give it a wait, but again, you're just going to want to make sure you append iPollo, or else you cannot actually do the enhancer, which allows you to do ZIL mining. It will probably, let's see, when's our next ZIL window? Our next ZIL window is 17 minutes away, so I'm going to cut out of this video for a little bit until we get closer, and then see if we did, in fact, successfully, be able to connect it to our ZIL mining. And again, it does say this on the ZIL mining pool as well. That's what you have to do. Our hash rate is increasing towards the 350 mega hash that is estimated in the software, which is significantly higher than the 300 that's advertised on the unit. But supposedly these actually average closer to 350. So we shall see how that goes. Still getting lots of accepted shares, so that's great. Just waiting for it to show up poolside. Just waiting. Alrighty. So you can see that our iPollo worker has indeed finally showed up on the pool. So we are mining ETC with it now. You can see 18 shares, 1 stale. So yeah, that's great. We're back up and mining ETC. Been a little while since I've done that. We will again check back once we hit our next ZIL window, which is now about 14 minutes away, just to make sure it has successfully dual mined ZIL. So other than that though, we're just chugging along, and yeah, seems to be up and running. I am thinking that I will do a separate video on how this thing actually works, like in a desktop PC, as intended, so not with an orange Pi and not all those crazy wires everywhere. But I am going to wait on doing that, mainly because I don't have a desktop here that it fits in. So I will have to get one from the farm. But that will be a follow-up video, kind of showing you how iPollo intended this to be used. I guess technically you can use it either way. Like, they intended both ways, but there's kind of a sleek, hidden miner way of operating this with the desktop PC for home miners that, maybe don't have a dedicated mining area like I do in the basement, or just want to mine it on their desktop PC. So you won't use the Orange Pi or the Orange Pi software. In that case, you would do everything through Windows, and there's software you can download on their website for that. Alright, so you can see that we did jump up to 24 workers after that last proof of work window on ZIL. And if I scroll on down, you do see the iPollo X1 has registered. So that's great to see. So we have successfully set up our iPollo miner. You can see it jumped back to ETC, so there was a slight dip there during the ZIL, but it'll jump back up. But otherwise, doing great, running well. Nothing too much else to talk about here other than, the whole put it in your desktop to hide it, which I'll talk about in a future video. But yeah, other than that, working great. Hopefully our error numbers go down a little bit here, but again, pretty typical for an ASIC to have a little more errors as it has just started. So keep an eye on that. That's all I got for the X1 today. Subscribe, like, comment down below, your experience. Do you have one of these? Do you dual mine with it? Have you had any issues with this? Again, I had the slight issue. The SD card, micro SD card was bad, I guess. But other than that, it seems to be working out the gate. It was like some no-name brand micro SD card, so I'm not surprised there. I bought a SanDisk, so should be good to go going forward. iPollo, you should probably invest in slightly better SD cards. I mean, they're pretty cheap. But that's all I got for today on my iPollo X1. Until next time.